Yo, 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 this is Damage Per Second Podcast. That's DPS Podcast, episode 239. And we are back on the actual Thursday night feeling all right. And I know we've been doing Fridays and Saturdays and just, it's been stuff going on. So we've been all over the place, but we back on our normal time Thursday night. I'm your co-host, SloMoBackSlap. That is the other co-host over there who just cracked open a Red Bull or a soda.
A Wicked Grove hard cider.
Oh boy, he about to be. I
Lit.
mean, you a little old now, man. So you might that might
affect me.
You
Never
it's
know.
not college days no more. You might be a little loose tonight. But
Hey.
that is Gaming Forte, who was pre-gaming apparently before we went live. So what's up, Forte? How you doing, man?
No, man, good, man. I'm probably gonna post it on X today. My daughter, tomorrow is there. She's in band camp, so they doing it after school. It was 9 to 8 every day. Today was an extended day because they did skits as their, she's in the low brass section. So they did skits as sections today. So they did that from 8 to 9. That's why normally it would have. That's the only reason we're going live today at 9:30 is because I had that I wanted to go to. So I was there, and let me tell you, man, watching, like, my daughter was, she plays baritone, and she's never marched before. So now she's doing marching band, and watching them play and march at the same time. Like, I've seen it before, we all watch football games and stuff in the past, but watching your kid do it and just listening to them play and knowing, like, not even, I want to say 3 months ago when she got out of middle school, when she played her last thing in regular band in middle school, listening to them then, I was like, man, they sound really good. I'm listening to them now. I'm like, yo, this is like legit jig, because you got everybody from like freshmen to seniors in there, and it's literally, I never watched the band, because I've never I was always playing football or something, so I never like paid attention to like the training and band. I was just watching them. That's like a football team, bro, the way that they train, bro. Like watching them, the camaraderie and everything.
You gotta have the stamina to carry your instrument around and do all kinds of choreography and for long periods of time.
It ain't no joke, bro. It ain't no joke, bro. So I'm like super proud of. Then I'm watching her. It ain't football. It ain't football, but it's still its own little thing. And I FaceTime my wife while she was at the house, while she could see my daughter out there, our daughter out there, and she saw her do the little twirling with her baritone in her hand, going back and forth like she was like rocking it, and she was like, "That's my baby." That's like, I was like, "Yeah." Like, listen, I got all girls. My whole house is females, so I'm literally gigging because it's like my oldest daughter, she just went to school. She's like a real homebody and stuff. So she really wasn't trying to do anything extra. And we're not, I'm not going to force my kids to do nothing they don't want to do. I want them to find stuff that they love on their own. She just loves video games and streaming and stuff like that. Whereas my youngest, she ran track. She does not volleyball. She does soccer, not soccer. She does, soccer. She did that when she was younger, and now I think she finally found that thing that she really, really loves, which is music. And watching her march in the band was pretty cool. So that's kind of what I've been doing today, on top of playing that great Battlefield 6 beta that we're going to talk about today. But it's been a good day, man.
I got some of that on the Jumbotron right now,
man.
Little Battlefield 6.
I see. I know you got a good match up there.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I think it was all right. It was all right. It was a good match.
My first game out.
Good time.
Yeah, first game out. 28-6. First game. I was like, let's go. Sounds like let's go.
Well, that is a actual topic.
Yep, we'll talk about it.
So we'll talk about that later. Outside of the Battlefield 6 open beta, what have you been playing, sir?
Still doing Hollow Knight on Switch. I also been playing the what the hell is the name? What is the heck of the name of the game that's on the Ninja Gaiden game? That's the side-scrolling one that just came out recently. That's on Switch.
Shinobi something? Is it the Shinobi game?
Well, the Shinobi game you could play the beta, which I did, not the beta, the demo. I did play that. And that's really good, but it's like I forget the name of it. It's a
Ninja Gaiden side scroller. Yeah, I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, I can't remember the name, but I've been playing that because ever since we talked about it on IOP this weekend, I forgot that it came out, and then I said let me go and try it out, and it's on Switch and it was on sale for $22, so I picked it up, and then I went in and downloaded the Shinobi demo, and like, man, that game is incredible, bro. And then I got a chance to look at a lot of watch the gameplay of Ninja Gaiden 4.
That's it. Yeah,
Ragebound. That's it. Ragebound. Yeah, and then I got a chance to watch some gameplay of Ninja Gaiden 4 because a lot of
Rail in the chat. What's up,
shout out to Ramon, but then got a chance to watch some of that because a lot of people put out some coverage. Shout out to Cognito for going out and getting the chance to talk to the developers and stuff, and talk about all the things coming in Ninja Gaiden. If you ain't seen that, go check it out on their channel. But
shout out to Cognito in his pursuit for games with real ninjas,
with real ninjas. But yeah. Man, that man's so slanderous.
He like his ninjas with pajamas on.
No, that dude is slanderous though. He is so slanderous. But we're gonna leave that for another day. And another thing, you gonna stop with this whole supporting of King and his tomfoolery that he does on the weekends on Sundays to me. You gonna stop doing that because all of a sudden he gonna start. So you can't take his fake love because he gonna tell you like, I forgive you for everything. He said I take back everything I said about Division that was bad because you up here super chatting for me and to have a bad time.
I don't care about any of that.
Yeah,
Let me tell you what I do, Forte.
I want to see that.
Every time y'all got these challenges, I typically wait until it's like the last super chat before somebody got to do something, and then I add the last super chat just to make sure it gets over. But nobody was super chatting for you, and I'm like,
I know
this man guy. So I had to jump in early.
No,
and make sure, because like I'm an equal opportunity hater, so I'm making sure you all have to do all the embarrassing stuff that the chat's trying to get y'all to do.
That ain't fair, bro.
I have to contribute my $10 to be the very last one to say that this, just drop it in and say, go ahead and put on that bunny suit or whatever the heck you gotta put on. Then I'm gonna do it.
That was bold, bro.
So it's not personal, Forte. I'm just an equal opportunity hater.
But see, it is but you're supposed to be more. It ain't equal because I'm your co-host. You're supposed to protect me.
I'm supposed to be biased for you.
Yes, you are. Just like I would be biased for you. I'm not gonna put you out on the stage, but guess what? You put me on the stage, bro. And then let me tell you, the reason people weren't super chat is because people respect me. They was like, you know what? We ain't gonna do that to Forte. Plus, y'all ain't showed Forte the contract yet, so he ain't even really got to do any of this. And then King go up there and call his goons
you are going to put on.
I gotta put on the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man suit.
Ghostbusters, yeah.
I do, and
you know what? You need to do the Stay Puft walk. You know how like Ghostbusters when he's walking through New York City and he got that goofy look on his face, like he's just so excited. You need to do that. You need to do the walk with the arms up, like you really excited, and you just stepping on every. Like you need to do exactly like that. That's what I want to see.
I just want to know. Just say that I got you, bro. Trust me. Trust. There will be a game that you will loathe to play, and I will make sure you play it.
Okay.
That's okay, but but other than that, man, I appreciate you because you always show as much as y'all, was my downfall on Sunday. You always there to support everything that's going on with me, plus ILP and stuff. So it's all love in the end. I just didn't expect you to contribute to it, but that's it for me, man. Just played those couple of games and everything and stuff like that. What you been up to?
Well, let's see. Outside of the game you see on the Jumbotron that I played earlier today, I've been doing my usual, playing Cyberpunk and Fortnite. Played a little Battlefield 2042 with you. I guess you forgot about that.
No, yeah. Well, because Battlefield 6 came out. The beta's out, so I just forgot about Battlefield 2042.
Right. I did boot up Call of Duty for the first time in a really long time.
Did it feel good?
No. I mean,
did it? Well, pause and all, but did you feel like, what is this?
What is this? No.
What is this? Velvet?
It took a couple of matches for me to get knocked the rust off, but I was very quickly kind of. I didn't have any bad matches. I just wasn't really like dominating like normal until like the third match, and then by that time I got busy because work has been crazy this week, so I didn't really get a chance to really play it too much. But we gonna really talk into it, like,
we're gonna talk about it
later, because like there's so many people that want to do like the console war thing around Battlefield and Call of Duty, and I get it because it's always been like this somewhat of a rivalry between the two, but they really are not
even the same.
They're not the same game. Like people who play both really and they're really good at both. Yeah, I said it. They know like they're not the same. Like they don't play the same. They don't have the same gunplay. What makes you good in Battlefield is not going to be very helpful to you in Call of Duty, and vice versa. So, but yeah, I played that, and then I need to get into 100 Line Defense Academy. I keep talking about playing it. And
on Switch or on PC?
Okay, hey, hold on a second, bro. Ramon, come on in, man.
Get in here, bro. Get in here.
In the weight room, sir. What did you say? What did you just ask me?
I said, are you playing it on PC or? Well, you don't have a Switch. You do have a Switch, but are you playing on PC or Switch?
For 100 Line
for 100 Line Defense.
I have it on Steam, so I
you have it on Steam.
Yeah, I could. It's pretty easy to run. I could play it on my Steam Deck if I wanted to.
Okay.
But
I heard it was a pretty good game. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, I've only played like the first hour or two. Didn't really get a chance to really like dive in. It was okay so far, but it's just I need more time with it to really kind of like really get into it, but I haven't done so far.
Right.
Okay, Ramon's not there yet. My mic is the software for my Elgato is like really buggy. So give me 1 second so I can fix this mic real quick. Is that working? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, I got it. It's working. Alrighty. Yeah. So, I mean, that's it. You ready to get into these topics, man?
I'm ready, man. This? I'm ready, bro.
Well, oh, really? Kojima's Project OD, which apparently doesn't stand for overdose. I don't know what that stands for. He claims it doesn't stand for overdose. I think it's just Kojima trying to be Kojima. But anyway, OD is still in development with Xbox, which is, kind of
interesting.
An interesting thing that's been coming up now because a lot of stuff been getting canceled, you know what I'm saying? But this is coming from Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, who says that he was told this by a Microsoft spokesperson. And so I guess, they may not have the funds for these projects and their 30 plus studios and their 40 plus games, but they still got some funds available for whatever the heck this weird nonsense Kojima is cooking up. Forte, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm not surprised that it's still in development. Well, I won't say I'm not surprised it's still in development. I'm not going to be surprised it's not canceled or anything, because you know the one thing that we know Kojima has is, you know, he has mind share across the industry when it comes to a lot of people. So even if people feel like the game may not hit on the way they want, they'll still release it on their platform, because they know there's a lot of drones out there that's going to still support Kojima just because it's Kojima. And he's going to get a lot of support just from developers and from media members and stuff. You know, his games are going to be on center stage at the Game Awards because of his relationship with Jeff Keighley. So just publicity wise, it's always going to be good to have a Kojima game in line with your platform. But the interesting thing is, like, what's going to be different about this game compared to all the other ones, because that man has a very stark difference.
It's a black background.
Yeah,
with some real, you know, well-known actors staring at a mocap helmet and screaming.
Exactly. What is this? What is this game? So, I mean, no one knows. Go ahead.
Let me say this.
Go ahead.
It could only be Xbox that would be so desperate to just allow Kojima to go full Kojima and make some foolishness like this. Like, I don't even know why this exists, but hey, they wanted them to get themselves a Kojima game, and here we are. They couldn't get the fake Metal Gear Solid that he's making for PlayStation, but they got this instead. So I guess okay. Alrighty then, but I mean, I just it's still in development, which is I guess good for those who are excited for it. I could care less, but and also, you know, I'm not into horror games either, so like this is like a double negative for me. It's just not happening. But anything else you want to say on
no,
this
I
one
mean that's pretty much it for me. It just really comes down to, I just don't know what this is going to be, just like I didn't know what Death Stranding was until I still don't know what that game is, and I have like not 8 hours or 9 hours into it now. So all his games are just extremely different from each other, and I will never confuse him with a person that doesn't know what direction he kind of wants to go in. He always has his own unique lane that he wants to be in. The question is how many people outside of his, you know, ridiculous sized fan base is going to enjoy that direction.
This ain't selling.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing. So
this is going double wood. As we
wood?
Double wood, as we used to say back in the day when
Jeff Keighley ain't gonna let it go double wood, bro.
So somebody drop an album and it don't sell. What's Keighley gonna do? Buy
he gonna put it
copies by
No,
himself?
he gonna put it on the Game of the Year stage, and even if it don't win the Game of the Year, the fact that it was nominated is gonna be there.
Nah, whatever. Anyway, you ready to go move on to the next one?
Yeah, that's it.
Hold on, we got Ramon's in the
We got Ramon in the house.
Hold up. Let me try to drag him.
I got him.
Wait. Okay, cool.
Ramon,
what's up, man?
Trevor, we missed you.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, man. What's going on?
We can hear you.
What's going on, TB?
Oh man, just hold on 1 second. I'm having a moment.
Oh, well, take your time.
Oh.
I just heard Optimus Prime.
Is that about to say? Are you doing voice acting for Transformers now?
He'll be back.
Yeah, he keeps going to the wrong. Hold up. You good, man? All right, we'll give him a second to sort his mic out.
Oh, he probably just keep going there just so he can like talk and see if it works.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, really? So, we got a release date for this ROG Xbox Ally.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing apparently will be dropping on October 16th. And pre-orders will be open on August 20th, which is literally right around the corner. It's 2 weeks away. This is coming from DIA Labs, which is like a French gaming source. They've had a lot of good, leaks in the past. So outside of that, I know for a fact of someone who has knowledge of this and says that the dates that DIA Labs has for the pre-orders as well as the release date are accurate. So Forte, are you getting one, man? Are you getting an Xbox Ally?
Testing. Can you hear me?
Yep, we hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
Okay, my bad. All right.
Everything good now?
Yep, I'm good.
They want you to speak, man.
Apparently not.
Xbox. Talk about the Magnus, right? Or are we talking about just the handheld right now?
We're talking about the handheld.
The handheld, most likely not day one. I will probably end up with one at some point because I am a very huge component of playing on the go, especially a lot more now. And having the hardware to be able to do it will be really, really cool. But it's not like I really need it right now because like a lot of the games that's coming out this holiday, a lot of them is probably gonna be more playable at home anyways. Like Battlefield, I'm pretty much gonna probably play at home. Maybe I could boot it up on the ROG and it would still be, I mean, it should still be very playable and stuff like that. But ultimately it really comes down to like what are they migrating the Xbox store over to the Windows store so all of your purchases go across that are on PC and Xbox? Because right now it's not like that. Like right now there's games that you can own on your Xbox digital marketplace that you still can't play on PC because they're not a part of the Play Anywhere thing. So
well, yeah, and Play Anywhere isn't a lot of games to begin with, right?
Isn't
now.
a lot of games anyway. Yeah,
I mean, it'll be more games at some point, but it's just that it's getting your existing library over is a hurdle that they need to get over, and it's not a technical issue. It's a licensing issue. It's getting these other publishers or other developers to forego what would be them double dipping, because essentially this is a different platform, and instead be just giving the license that was provided on Xbox for a price that was just for Xbox to devices that are on PC. On the PC marketplace, and that's fine when new releases come out, and you've signed on for that, right? If you signed on for that kind of to deliver that kind of experience, it's not fine when you release this game on an Xbox One X back in like 2017 or 2018, and now Microsoft wants you to allow the person who bought it 7 years ago to now be able to have that license on a whole different piece of hardware. Like some people are just not cool with that, and I get it.
I agree.
Ramon, what are your thoughts on that? And are you getting a ROG Xbox? I hate this name because it's too many words. ROG Xbox Ally. Are you getting one of those?
Oh my God, that is the funniest question I've been asked in a very long time.
Lord have mercy.
I couldn't possibly care less. That's number one. Number two, I even if I had much of an interest in playing handheld, no. Number three, it's upwards of $1,000 USD, which puts it at roughly about what, 12-ish $100 Canadian.
There's two of them. There's the Xbox Ally that's weaker. That's the standard one.
Okay, so that one's $1,000.
I would say is no, that's not. Well, Oh, in Canadian, I have no idea what in Canadian dollars that would be. Maybe you're right. Maybe there's $1,000. And then there's
about
the
1,000 to
ROG
1,200
Xbox
respectively.
Ally X. Like, it's just way too many syllables. And that one is I mean, in American dollars, that's going to probably be around $1,000 on. It's.
Yeah.
I agree with you to the good. Like, I'm not getting one. And I have a Steam Deck, and that's all I need right now. It's whenever I want that kind of experience, that's what I'll use. But there's a reason why these PC handhelds have not like had mass adoption, and it's not just because Valve doesn't really market the device or sell it outside of their own, storefront. It's not because they don't have the marketing push with Best Buy that other products and other companies have. That's not really it. It's the fact that they are priced the way they are, and when people see what they do, which is essentially I have a hybrid handheld that I can dock and play on a TV. They think about the Nintendo Switch, and they look at the price of the Switch and the Switch 2, and they look at the price of these PC handhelds, and they're like, I do not care that it plays games the Switch doesn't play. I am not spending $800+ to play on a 800p screen. and some of these games can't stick to 60 FPS. And I gotta do all this hoopla and all this, funny, there's console guys who want a console experience on PC, but definitely fine with jumping through all the hoops and installing software and the tweaking and twerking they do on PC handhelds to get a decent experience. I'm good.
I know a guy. I have a coworker who already has the ROG Ally, and I asked him because he's actually an Xbox guy. So I asked him, I was like, "So you gonna maybe sell your ROG Ally and get an Xbox or a ROG Ally X?" And he was just, and this dude's an Xbox dude. He's like, "Hell no!" He's like, I know the performance is gonna be a little better. He's like, "But I'm not paying more for something." He's like, I have this one, it's fine. He's like, and I doubt the performance is going to be sober. Yeah, it has a better chip, and it has better ergonomics.
Better chip, right? And it's got those love handles on the side, right? But outside of that, what it's doing, the seamless UI and everything, all that has integrated, all the features that people
that's
find
coming to all the other ones
PC.
Too.
It's coming to it's just coming later, and it's just like you really gonna spend another $800 to $1,000 on something, and you will eventually get on the ROG Ally that you currently have right now. And again, we're talking about a very, very small minority of people who are really interested in this kind of device, honestly. Because I think the grander market is not, unless the device has software they can't get anywhere else, like a Nintendo product. When Nintendo holds all the cards, and you could only really get it without, going the pirate route. You can only really get it on their device, their compromised, weak device. Then you're gonna suck it up and play that game at 30 FPS.
Pretty much
is what it is.
One good thing about the device is it told us when that Silk Song is coming. So I'll give it that.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to say about this before we move on?
No, let's go.
All right.
Oh really?
I know.
Oh my God, I love that.
Trust me, I know.
Don't shoot that little. All right.
Yeah.
So,
Downrange.
Call of Duty. Where is it? What about? I'm sorry. What was that? I lost my train of thought. Call of Duty Black Ops 7, because I almost said Black Ops 6. Black Ops 7 will require TPM 2.0 secure boot on PC. This is an attempt to curb the cheating on PC. but more than likely will just prevent more non-cheating PC gamers who have older hardware from actually playing the game than stopping cheaters, because it's Battlefield 2042 implemented this back in May, I believe, sometime earlier this year. They're still cheating in Battlefield 2042. So it's the cheaters and their software, they just adapt, they just adjust. If anything, they have tipped their hand that they're doing this to the cheaters, so they'll be prepared with their cheats when Black Ops 7 comes out. It will be cheaters in the beta, guaranteed. Cheaters in the beta. So Ramon, I know you don't really kind of like jump into these kind of games. Before, what are your thoughts about this? Because if I recall correctly, you had some issues with the TPM secure boot stuff with Battlefield 2042 when we was playing earlier this week, right?
Yep, sure did. And as soon as you said it, it gave me PTSD. I was like, all of a sudden, wasn't able to play Battlefield 2042. I was like, I was literally able to play this a week ago. All of a sudden, it did, and that's because it
wasn't detecting it, right? Their
anti-cheat. Well, no, it was detecting it. It's just the fact that they changed it, so now you have to have your secure boot turned on. Like my secure boot was on, but I was using under your Windows update, I wasn't using the Windows ENFT, whatever they call it. I was using other OS because it was more stable on Windows 11. But they won't allow you to use Windows other OS. You have to use Windows EFT, whatever it's called, because that's the official version that, uses secure boot. And as soon as I booted it up with that on, I was able to jump into Battlefield, no problems. The biggest issue I was having is for like the first couple of the first hour, I had like really, really crazy like lag and drops and dips in frame rate in the game. Yeah. That's why you saw me standing in the corner. I was thinking I had something wrong with my
man. He was standing in the corner like the Blair Witch got you for like a good 30 seconds. I was like, dude, what
petrified.
Are you doing? And then he was gone. It was pretty funny.
and I had to restart my PC. It's like my mic audio, it like my computer forgot my audio adapter. It was like, wow. And I was like, okay, so why is this happening? So then I went back to, regular other OS, and then I couldn't play Battlefield again. I was like, okay, let me jump in again and just try it again. As soon as I jumped in, it started messing up again. I was like, okay, whatever. I was getting ready to like tell SloMo I was leaving. Then all of a sudden the game cleared up for me. Like it was like it had to like test itself to figure out that I was doing everything and the game was doing some type of diagnostics on my PC.
I wonder if the presence, depending on your configuration, but if it was kind of slowing down the rendering of assets and the streaming in of assets.
It probably was.
And that's because like I get that with Fortnite. Fortnite has an issue where like my first match, I know it will happen at some point in my first match. The whole game would just freeze for like 5 seconds.
Yep, that's what's happened to me.
No nothing. Yeah, yep. and sometimes that happens while I'm in a gunfight in Fortnite, which pisses me off because then I come out of it and I'm at the you're dead. And I'm just like, so I basically died because Unreal Engine killed me and not the actual player that got credit for it. But it's like, yeah, it's I think they're hopefully, because Battlefield 6 is going to do the same thing, and you didn't have any issues with that today when you played the open beta, right?
No, it played perfectly. I thought it was going to give me the same issue, but it booted up perfectly fine. But I was also able to play Battlefield 2042 yesterday. I booted up just to play a game before I went to before I started doing some stuff, and it launched perfectly fine. I didn't have any issues, no slowdown or anything. So I don't know if it was just like I said, on the day that I did a switch of all of my configurations of my OS, if it just wanted to test everything, it stressed it, and then it was like, okay, this is right, we'll clear it up, and we'll let them play as normal, because it was weird, because I was able to play perfectly fine a week ago, and then all of a sudden they put this new security measure in place, which I'm not gonna be mad at them putting security measures in place, because it's gonna be better for the game if people can't cheat in it. But it was just wow.
They
can.
It will stop simpler cheats, but there's a lot of complex. Like, people really be putting a lot of effort into cheat, which really annoys me, because people it'd be and I'm about to be slanderous. It'd be the dumbest people that you could possibly imagine who become freaking super engineers, and hey, this is how I got dual PCs. I got the PC where I'm playing the game off of, then I'm spoofing my config to this other PC, so that I'm just like, you doing all this and you're behind can't spell words that fifth graders can spell. It's just like, what are you doing?
It's like those
man?
people who put more effort into cheating on a test than actually studying for the test.
Oh yeah, those people kill me, bro.
And in IT, I remember when I first got into IT, I was I didn't go to school for it in college, so I did this career change, and I'm like, well, let me get some certifications, so I could kind of liven up my resume, because I don't have the experience or the degree, but if I got these certifications, that could make up for a little bit, especially when I'm trying to get my foot in the door and whatnot. And I'm as I did all that and I got my certifications, I remember when I first started working at my first job, other people were like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get that cert too. I already got I forgot what they call them, but it's they call them test dumps. And what essentially is that someone leaked the actual test results for the test. And back then, some of the certifications, they'll have lab work in there, but the lab work isn't worth enough to prevent you from passing. So if you just got all the multiple choice answers and all the other answers correct, but you skipped the lab, you would just barely pass. And so people were just it's wild. Instead of learning the material, getting the skills, the knowledge to do the job correctly, people would rather memorize the order of the multiple choice, do that for weeks, and then go and take the test as soon as possible to pass it. And it was just dude, you could have actually really studied for something that you claim you want to do for a living. It's just wild how people just cheat. So I know this is a huge tangent, but can't stand cheaters. But I just I know this is not going to work. I know this is not going to stop them. It makes it harder, sure, it does do that, but but I feel like there will be more people who are gonna be like, man, my motherboard, I'm on Windows 10 and my motherboard doesn't have that feature right now. So now I gotta buy a new motherboard to do that. Oh, my current CPU isn't compatible with a motherboard that's capable of that. Oh man, so now I gotta get a new CPU. At this point, you might as well just build a whole new PC. And the fact that it's really just mostly deterring honest players from playing the game, then cheaters just makes me kind of roll my eyes on the whole thing. But Ramon, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's just that last thing that you just said. You're literally whether it's inadvertent or not, they're punishing the honest people who purchase the game and play it honestly in their striving to prevent cheaters from being able to cheat. And I get it, because cheaters, that's loser energy, right? And it's a no-win situation, because it ruins the experience for legitimate people who play the game. But by them doing the anti-cheat thing, it also diminishes the experience as well. So it's like,
Right.
it's a no-win. Like, I don't know if it's possible for them to ever come up with something that will prevent, cheaters from being able to cheat. But what they're doing right now succeeds in only diminishing the experience for people who play honestly. So, unfortunately, these are the humans we share the world with. So, I mean, there's no getting around it. And if I was inclined to play multiplayer games, this would be a deterrent for me, because one way or the other, I'm not going to really get to enjoy it like I would like, because either I have anti-cheat or I don't have anti-cheat and I have cheaters. But either way, I have cheaters. So, the only alternative is on console. So, and I know there's cheaters on console.
That's not even safe anymore.
Yeah, but it's at least it's diminished. Like it's still less than what it would be on PC as far as I'm aware. But I don't really have a dog in this fight other than being an Aquarius and a dragon. The morality standpoint of it for me is just why I find it extra annoying. But
I get you.
It's too bad.
Yeah, I just realized something as I'm looking at the jumbotron. Like my crosshair placement is really rusty. I need to play more. I need to get into stuff more. But anyway, let's move on to the next one.
I can literally see Arsenio Hall in my mind's eye every time.
Every time. I should probably just pull up the video too. Like have the whole video pull up full screen. That might be a project later down the road. Anyway, Turn 10 has made an announcement that they will continue to support Forza Motorsport going forward. But does not confirm that there will be there will be new Forza Motorsport games. So essentially what they did, they came out and they said, hey, look, we're still working on Forza Motorsport, and I guess they reinstalled some other content that people were looking for. And they also said that Playground is still going to make Forza Horizon, which no one doubted that. That's the more successful one. But they're not really, like, their little reassurance seems a little hollow to me, because it's not, no one expected them to just like stop working on Forza Motorsport. Like Forza Motorsport servers just go down and you try to log in, you can't get in the game. Like no one expected that. But what they expected is that you're likely not going to get another Forza Motorsport beyond this one. And they didn't address that, which of course, how could they address that? They don't know. So they don't know what Microsoft is going to do a year, 2 years from now. So Ramon, what are your thoughts on this, man? What are your thoughts on the Turn 10 announcement, and do you think there'll be another Forza Motorsport in the future?
Oh man, I mean, as much as I would like to believe there will be another Forza Motorsport, I kind of doubt it. I mean, they've already shrunk the team. They're supporting Horizon, like you just said, Playground Games with Forza Horizon. And I mean, if I can easily see a world in which they say, well, instead of Forza Motorsport, since they're, I mean, let's just call it a buck. They're more and more moving towards that full third party thing. And even though there was a point where Forza Motorsport challenged GTA 7 is the superior racing sim right now, or Simcade, if you will. So I mean, I could see them just supporting Forza Motorsport. What is it, 8 now? 7, 8?
I mean, it's technically 8, but like they don't even call it. They just call it Forza Motorsport because they dropped the number, because I think what they intended this to be is like a live service platform where they just continue to iterate off of it.
So I can see them doing that as long as the game is still alive. if the game starts to kind of slide, then I can just see them going all hands on deck with Horizon, because just like you said, it's the more popular, the more successful one. So
Yeah.
you know, I really hate to see that, because you know they had a really good thing going with those games leapfrogging each other the way they are. But I mean, you know, considering what happened to Turn 10, which I mean, it kind of ticks me off, because
Ramon, do you have some like background feedback? Or is that you? Or is that
I wonder if
I
it's
was
my
hearing
fan,
some
'cause
background feedback.
I have a fan going because it's kind of hot.
Yeah, that's what I'm probably hearing. I don't know
Okay.
if the chat can hear that, but I just go ahead. You're
Okay.
good.
I can always well, after I finish, I'll turn it off and see if that helps. But yeah, I mean, I really want to say that I think that, you know, we might get a new Forza Motorsport, but at this point, especially, you know, with them intending for it to be more of a live service thing, I can see them supporting that as long as it warrants support. And then and since, you know, maintaining it, you know, I don't know for a fact, but maybe it costs less
It
resources to
does.
maintain it. Okay, so yeah,
I think they're in maintenance mode for
yeah,
Forza Motorsport at this point.
maybe
It's
add a little
just
bit here and there, and yeah.
yeah. Forte, what do you think, man?
I don't care.
Yeah, y'all gotta stop doing this, man.
What? Doing what?
Whole, I don't care. I don't care that you don't care. Answer the question.
What would you want me to say?
You know, never mind.
No,
I don't
no,
want you to say
no.
nothing.
What you want me to say?
No, I don't want you to say anything.
No.
move
What you
on.
want me to say?
I would like to have your opinion on it, but apparently you don't have one.
No. What was your?
so
What was your?
we
What
ain't
was
gotta
your?
worry about it.
No. What was your opinion?
My opinion?
Yeah. What was your opinion?
They not making another Forza Motorsport, and the question, what they did wasn't answering the
I'm
questions that
listen.
people had.
No, I know. I'm just messing with you. You know I love Forza. I just wanted to just get on you for a second.
Why are you trying to get this man an ulcer?
Well, he listen, because he made me put on a freaking Stay Puft Marshmallow Man suit by adding to a super chat. That's why. Because he was bold. My co-host with the co-most.
So petty.
This man literally, nobody was super chatting. Everybody was like, we ain't gonna do that to Forte. And then SloMo was like, nobody's super chatting. I'm just gonna jump out first. And he's gonna put a super chat up there. And then King called all his goons.
The other 14 people had nothing to do with me. So like,
no.
I mean, I don't understand why
you shouldn't have. But you shouldn't have been part of the 14. But that's all I'm saying. But no, I'm okay. I'm gonna answer your question now because I'm still salty with you. But I actually do think. So do you think Turn 10 is not going, or do you just don't think another Forza Motorsport is going to be made?
I think the only reason why they got anybody that like, the only people in Turn 10 right now are people who are engineers
that work on the Forza
Tech engine or updating Forza Tech engine. And they have job security because that engine is essentially powering one of the most successful games that Xbox has, and potentially another successful game with Fable.
Yes,
the other people who are there who are not engineers in Turn 10 are people who are just there to be in maintenance mode for Forza Motorsport. When that game when they make the decision to no longer support that game, is when they'll lay off the rest of those guys because they'll have no use for them. Or maybe those people will get merged in with Playground to work on the Forza Horizon series. But essentially, I don't think we're getting another Forza Motorsport. So I kind of felt like their announcement was just kind of politicking. You know, you kind of like, because I saw a lot of people fall for it too. I looked at Twitter and I see a lot of people going, "Ooh, yeah, well, you negativity grifters, you negativity merchants. What you gotta say about that?" Nothing, because they didn't actually address anything that people had a concern about. They said we're going to continue to finish out the content we were doing for Forza Motorsport.
Mm-hmm.
People said you're not going to make another new Forza after this, because they laid off everyone that would have been people who would be doing that. Crickets from their side, because it is what it is.
I think I don't disagree with you. I don't think that Turn 10 themselves is going to make one. I do think thinking motorsport won't be a thing anymore is kind of like premature, because I just don't think it's going to be the main line game like Horizon is. Like they'll come out with they'll come out with
like the past
they'll come out with a couple of Horizons before that, because I think the next motorsport, I think they finally come to the realization that the licensing on those cars, I mean, granted they still get the licensing on the cars for Horizon,
but it's worthwhile,
because it's worth more money because of the game. The game sells more. But I do think when it comes to when they have enough cars that like switch over body years and stuff, when it comes to like our turnover in the body style of a car, I can see them coming out with another motorsport in like 5 years, like one every generation or so, because that's kind of all you really need. And then you can and then you'll already have the licensing under, Forza for those cars already. Like they can negotiate with car dealerships, not just to have it just for that one game, but to have it for both of those games, because it's all under the same franchise, just two different franchises in general. So I still think they'll make them. I just think they're very, very far in between. I think the fact that you saw Forza 7, Motorsport 7, I think that was like 2017 or 2018 when that came out. I think that's going to be the norm. I don't think it was because they were like tooling and changing the engine over. I just think it just was cost effective for them to just do what they're doing.
When they did their mass layoffs, they severely downsized the Turn 10 team.
Yeah, but they don't have to be made by Turn 10, bro. It don't need to be made by them.
Who would make it?
Dog, how many teams does like once again? What's the name has how many teams? They have 2. They probably can have
the problem is a whole new team will have to learn that engine though.
No. I know that. Yeah.
They already know the engine. Like
they know the
Forza
engine.
Horizon and Forza Motorsport.
No, but I mean a different team. But you said a different team.
No, I'm not saying build a third team. I'm just thinking like, and for what I think for the most part, that team is going to be the second team that's not working on whatever extra game they're doing like they are when it comes to Fable right now. Because they have 2 teams that Turn 10. They have the Fable team and they got the Horizon team.
No, at Playground, they have
not
teams.
Turn 10. No, that's what I meant.
Turn
not
10.
No. Turn 10 is no more.
Fill in the garage.
No. Turn 10 is no more. I meant to say Playground. Playground got 2 teams. They got the Forza Horizon team and they got the Fable team. The Horizon team can still make a Forza Motorsport. They can still do it.
But doing that would then slow down the
not really, because
of Forza Horizon.
Because
not big enough to make 2 games at once.
No, they're not going to make 2 games at once, because you're talking about for every 2 Forza games, Horizon games, they'll make 1 Forza. So while they're in development, go ahead.
While they're making the Motorsport game, those people would be making another Horizon game. And if you're right,
go ahead.
Let's say you're correct, and after 2 more Forza Horizons, they'll make Forza Motorsport. We in the 2030s by then.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's gonna be like 6-7 years in between games.
Yeah,
that's why I said, like, it's no reason for them to make a simulation racing game every 3 to 4 years, because the cars don't change that much over 3 to 4 years. You still have the same car with the same body style, with the same makeup of the engine. The only thing that changes is the RPM or the overall horsepower that the cars have.
How long did it take Turn 10 to go for Forza Motorsport 7 to
I think it's because I also think first of all, I think that was part of the reason they I think it wasn't even the fact that they had issues with the game. I think they just literally downturned on it. It was like they didn't need to come out with it earlier because nothing changed. They waited until, like, think about that. That one came out. What year was Motorsport? 2023? Was it 2023? I think it wasn't last year, so it had to be the year before.
I think it was 2023.
Yeah. So they went from 2017 to 2023. 6-year window. I think that's a perfect window. A lot of people think it's because they were having issues with the game, which they were having because they did do a lot of changes with the lighting engine, with like the ray tracing engines and stuff that they added to Forza Tech. You know, they were trying to like push the boundary on graphical fidelity and everything when it came to that type of game with the atmosphere, all of the different racing conditions, the fog and everything, the tire terminalities and stuff. They were doing a whole bunch of different things with that. But I also think that they literally slowed down development because there was no hurry to like come out with another racing game that was so close to the last one. Because nothing changed.
I think it took longer because they had to update their game engine. That's one.
Well, no, I think they had to update the game engine because of all the extra things and other assets and stuff that they added to the game. That stuff wasn't going to be able to like be supported on that version of Forza Tech, which was the one that that Forza 7 was on. They changed a lot of stuff in order to upgrade that engine to where it is to this now, which is why in your point, the engineers are still there because they still need to like kind of maintain, not even kind of, they still need to maintain that type of freshness that they can have with those games, because the number one thing that sells a racing game is the eye candy. The gameplay is separate outside of, and then people love Horizon because people love the arcade racing, and that one happens to have a little bit of simulation to it too. That's also why I think that, you know, Playground still can actually do it, because Horizon isn't just an arcade game. It actually has simulation. It's just more loose in its terminology and the things that they can do. So they can 100% do it. I just think that it's going to be a long as F development cycle for another motorsport, because I just don't see them completely abandoning it. Like, they may only come out with one every 7 years, which will be perfectly fine, because nothing is changing in 7 years when it comes to those games. It's like the tracks don't change. You're still gonna go run the Nürburgring, and that's gonna be the same ring 20 years from now, because they're not changing and adding a new set of a new path to that ring or the straight or anything. When they all that stuff is the same.
Will the current Xbox do that? Will they be willing to, you know, every 5-6 years or whatever?
Well,
like
I don't think they'd be willing to do that if they still had Turn 10 doing it. But that means if they still have a studio that's still doing other things, I 100% think they're 100% worth. They'll still do that. Because if they still got Forza Horizon, which the thing about Forza Horizon that everybody loves is it still gives you an arcade feel with a simulation, with a kind of simulation feel, but the environments change. It's like, it's more about the environments and the setting that they're setting the game in than it is about the game itself. It's about where it's taking place. That's the like allure of what Horizon is. And then they still have their, you know, B, or well, I'll consider A and A, because both games I think are going to be great when it comes to Fable. Then they still have that other team that's still working on whatever other action adventure game that they're kind of making when it comes to like right now with Fable. And then they can still, on the long term, they can still make a simulation game. They can. I don't know why you don't think they can.
Bro, you're not listening to what I'm saying.
It ain't got nothing to do. A lot of games sell less than Horizon. So you just want them to just completely drop the Horizon, the regular motorsport franchise.
Not what I want.
No, that's what you're saying they're going to do.
They are not going to tell the Forza Horizon Playground team, hey, don't make a third Forza Horizon. Make a less successful game.
What are you talking about? A third Horizon? They're going to make a third Horizon. They're going to still do it.
Forte, the same team can't make two games at once.
Okay. All right, SloMo.
So, we're going. Keep saying they're gonna make 2 games at once. They're not going to do that.
All right, SloMo.
So,
all right, you win.
I haven't even actually said anything. You've been talking
no,
like
I'm just
for
saying
5
you win.
minutes,
I just said you win.
And I push back.
No,
and
you win.
You're cutting me off saying you win.
No,
you're
saying no. I already know. You just said it. You said they're not going. You said
you
just said the team. You just said Microsoft's not going to tell the team to do it, and then you said they're not. They're not going to make another
actual reason. But you wouldn't shut up to actually hear it.
Go ahead, SloMo, because it's still not good. I'm done with the conversation, but go ahead.
Okay, so for Ramon and the audience to hear,
I'm listening
to tell Playground. You just said you're not.
I said I'm done with the conversation. I'm still listening to you. I didn't say I'm not going to listen to you.
They're not going to tell Playground's Forza team.
Okay.
Make a Forza Motorsport instead of another Forza Horizon when Forza Horizon is the more successful of that IP. They didn't port Forza Motorsport to PlayStation for a reason because they knew it wouldn't sell over there.
They didn't port it over there due to the fact that they have Gran Turismo over there. They actually have a game that is rival to it over there.
So there's arcade racers, the Crew, and all
the come on, bro. Come on, bro. We all knew that Horizon was the best racing game that the PlayStation had. That was arcade racing. Nobody even cared about Need for Speed or anything. Guess what?
Gran Turismo is a better simulation racer than Forza Motorsport, and they knew it would not sell over there.
They have competition for that over there. There's no competition for Horizon on PlayStation. That's why everybody knew it was going to sell. Everybody knew that.
They don't care about competition.
Okay,
they putting all their games over there, but they didn't put that one over there. The ones that aren't successful, like Redfall.
Well, all the games aren't over there.
Going over there.
Well, all the games aren't over there though.
Yet.
But they're not. Halo was successful. Halo will do great on a PlayStation.
And all of it's going.
But why is it not? But no, you just said all their games, but there's games that's not over there yet.
Games are going over there,
but they're not though. You just talk about how Forza. You just tried to use Horizon. You just tried to use Motorsport.
No, won't sell like Redfall, like Forza Motorsport. It won't.
But why?
Sell
okay, so why Halo's not over there yet, dear?
I literally just said this.
But why is it not there yet?
They're putting Halo over there because it takes time.
Okay.
Because Halo is developed on a game engine that has been a proprietary game engine for Xbox consoles.
Okay.
The dev kits, the dev kits and the tools needed to put that on PlayStation is just not in place. And they're transitioning to Unreal Engine. There's a lot to go with. And they laid off half of 343, which is now Halo Studios. Who's gonna put these ports of all these games over there yet? Just because it's not there yet doesn't mean
I didn't say it was. I think it's definitely gonna go. It's just a simple fact that there's no competition for it over there. That's one. Like everybody, you for some reason you are just drawing this beeline to just know that there is a distinct difference between Horizon going to PlayStation and Motorsport. We had this conversation before they even before they shut Tomo.
The other game won't.
No, because before this is the thing, before any of this stuff, when we first heard rumors of of Horizon going to PlayStation, this was well before Turn 10 was even thought about being in jeopardy. Everybody was like, Motorsport is not going to go over there because it's not going to be successful.
Of Horizon going. We heard rumors a Forza was going. And you could go back to the
I know, but we all said it's not going to be Motorsport, it's going to be Horizon.
Exactly.
Because which one would be the better one to go over there? No competition for Horizon.
Which one is successful? On Xbox and on PC, which one does better?
Oh my God.
You already know. Yeah, let's move on.
You're right. Move on.
Really?
Oh, really?
Okay. That was a nice little back and forth. Anyway, so Fortnite.
Trash.
It's funny. You just so upset, man. You know, stay puffed, Forte. You stay puffed over there. So Fortnite is now adding proximity chat to Battle Royale. If anyone knows, proximity chat is where the toxicity lives. Okay, when you get close to other people and you can hear them, like in Fortnite, you've never been able to hear the other players that you're going up against, whether you're in solo queue or you're going up against another squad. You've never been able to hear them speak. But like you see in Warzone, like you've seen in the Division Dark Zone, like you see in plenty of other like extraction shooters, where when you get close to another team, you start to hear their comms, it gets messy. And so now Fortnite's kind of diving into this. I think it's all due to increased competition. You know, like
Absolutely.
you got proximity chat with other shooters. They're like, all right, we're gonna do that too. So Ramon, with you don't play these kind of games, do you, Ramon? I keep forgetting. You don't.
No,
you don't play...
I don't play. I mean, I don't play multiplayer. I definitely don't play MOBAs or anything like that. But what I do know is proximity chat is probably sits in the top 3 things that I would not want to experience in a multiplayer battle arena.
I love it. Proximity chat is the best, man. Talking, like when you hear some other people like talking trash, and you get the like it's some of the best moments in gaming. It's really good when you kill someone and they start cussing you out, and then you just finish them off. It's chef's kiss. When you start killing their entire team and they're talking trash, or just the lead up to it, when they're talking trash to you before it gets started, it's great. Depending on how the game is designed and set up, like in the Dark Zone, there'll be a lot of like as they like there'll be a lot of talking trash before the bullets start firing, and you do a lot of like circling each other, and like, yeah, your build is trash. I can tell. I can see your gear on. You don't know what you're doing. You suck, like that kind of thing. And Call of Duty, it's you in multiplayer, you may hear the proximity chat of the guy you just killed, and it's kind of funny because you'll hear their immediate reaction to getting bodied. But in Warzone, it's like a whole nother thing, because it gets pretty crazy. I have mostly had my voice chat off because I don't like hearing squeakers when I play Fortnite, and I turned it on as soon as I heard about them adding proximity chat. I turned that thing on. I'm like, I need to hear this. I need to hear what people gotta say. So yeah, Forte, what are your thoughts about this? Do you think this is going to get more people playing Fortnite, or is this just them doing what they normally do, which is when another game looks to have some juice comes out, they start adding some things that those games do in order to kind of keep their foot on the net?
No, I think it's smart of them. A lot of people they tend to take the things that people are talking about and kind of implementing them in their game. I remember when Apex Legends first came out. Yeah, the tornado, when Apex Legends came out and you had the revive stations and you could bring people, back at the revive stage. They added those in the game literally the same week that Fortnite had it. I mean, the week that Apex came out, because people like really, really love that. So they're definitely very innovative on their own, but they definitely
the tornado was Battlefield 2042.
Was 2042,
the tornado on 64's V64 maps. They had that tornado out in 2 weeks.
Yep, it was tearing up the map. But they just listen to social media and what people are talking about, and then they say, oh, you guys like the tornado, the typhoon, we'll bring that to Fortnite. You know, the fact that people like proximity chat in games, which is something that they've always known that people like, but once it becomes a conversation, a topic, and then it's like dominating the internet when it comes to like the biggest thing that this game is doing to bring people over. Oh yeah, let's add that to our game, because guess what? People's like, well, shoot, I'm already invested in Fortnite. They just added proximity chat. You know, let me jump back on Fortnite and see what it's like, because they want to test it over there, and then it's just familiar. That's the one thing that Epic has is with Fortnite. It's just so many people played it so much, it's familiar territory. And then the fact that they dedicated their entire studio to just this game, they could turn around a feature in, like you said, 2 weeks, most likely less, when it comes to stuff like that. So I think they definitely listen to the tea leaves out there and to what other people are talking about. And if it makes sense for their game, they'll put it in there. And proximity chat should have always been there in Fortnite, but it was just it wasn't there.
And this is where, like, when it comes to Fortnite specifically, I want to really see how this turns out, because there's a lot of younger kids who play Fortnite.
Yes.
And when you turn on proximity chat, now Fortnite they've been forced to implement some really good child protection stuff. So like if it's a child's account that's been set up by the parent as a child's account, then no one can talk to that kid at all. But somehow I still hear squeakers anyway, because
that's what you meant by squeakers.
Don't pay attention. yeah, squeakers. You know, they ain't hit puberty.
I wonder what you meant.
Why is nobody reviving me? Let me shut up. You know, so like it's annoying. But there's a lot. I see there's a lot of them in the game because their parents just allowed them to set up an account without actually like paying attention to what they're doing. And so when you see these clips of Call of Duty where the kid's getting trolled by the adults and he starts screaming and crying, like, it's one thing in Call of Duty where people, when no one goes, oh, that's not right, Activision gotta do something about that, because the kid should have been on the game in the first place. The kid's not supposed to be on that game.
Right.
They're not old enough to play the game. Their negligent parents allowed it. That's why that kid's screaming his head off and like he's about to die. But in Fortnite, that's different, because kids are allowed to play Fortnite. And so I wonder how that's going to turn out, because I kind of feel like it's Fortnite, because of its popularity, it gets a lot more scrutiny than other games get. You get the middleweight soccer moms that got upset because their kids were playing with characters with a lot of TNA jiggling around, so they forced Fortnite to make all the characters body types look like middle-aged soccer moms. The multitude of things they've been taking the court for, some of it very much legitimate and needed to happen, like the child protection stuff, but like they're always under the microscope, whereas other games that aren't as popular don't get that level of scrutiny. And so them doing this really kind of shocked me, because guaranteed having proximity chat on is going to, the trash talk will be legendary. So I just I can't wait to see how it goes. That's all of the rapid fires though. We ready to get into these main topics here?
Let's do it.
Sounds good. So Contraband got canceled, and you know what's funny? It's not funny in a sense, because, like, you know, people were working on this game. They're probably going to end up getting laid off from Avalanche Studios. That's not funny. Kind of like funny, interesting, because me and Forte were talking about this the week of the layoffs. We were like, oddly, we haven't heard anything about Contraband. That game hasn't been said nothing has been heard or said about that game in like 4 years. And they canceled all these other games, and they shut down studios, and they laid off all these people. But Contraband is still in development. That don't seem right. You know, I kind of wonder. And should I give all the information before we really start discussing it? This is coming from once again Jason Schreier of Bloomberg, who says it's canceled, and yeah, so you know he's got his sources on that. He's been pretty solid on those kind of things, so everyone definitely believes it. But Forte, I kind of feel like it got canceled with all the other stuff that got canceled, but because no one really knew much about the game, and it wasn't like having a ton of people that were hyped for it, and it was also being made by a studio that they don't own, that no one cared. Like no one really looked into it to find out whether it was canceled or not, and it just took this long for that information to come out. What do you think?
No, I do think that, I mean, it's more of when information like that hits the way, people kind of want to pounce on it then, instead of looking at just data and the situation in hand. Like if you want to, let's just talk about like the initiative with Perfect Dark. Now, one part of you would say Perfect Dark is going to come out, but then if you just looked at it, like, you haven't heard anything from that game since they showcased that trailer they did. And we already know that the studio that was heading that was not even a first party studio. It was a on loan studio, Crystal Dynamics, that was basically taking over development of that game, with the initiative basically just almost being a placeholder. So it didn't shock anybody when it happened. I think it was just more of like, dang, Microsoft literally just closed the studio that they created from the ground up, and that's crazy. So if you kind of just look at things in the way that they like it, just through a lens of just like not positive, but just through scrutiny, when everything's like that, you kind of can see a lot of this stuff happening. But let's be real, everybody jumps on news like this whenever it actually comes out, because it's like easier to talk about. And people, you know, as much as people hate, they say they hate watching people lose their job, they want to talk about stuff like that, and that's why it always comes up into that distinct. So, but I just think in general, it's just kind of the way that, you know, the cycle has been running when it comes to stuff like that over the course of like not just this generation, but even last generation.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Ramon, what do you think about Contraband being canceled?
Well, I mean, since it's not a studio owned by Xbox, it lends hope that at least the people working at I can't remember the name of the studio, but
Avalanche Studios.
Avalanche, yeah. So, you know, there's hope. One would hope that at least, you know, maybe
they made the Just Cause games, right?
Yeah, that's right. They made the Just Cause game. So hopefully the studio can remain intact since they're not owned by Xbox. So there's that. As far as the game getting canceled, I mean, they didn't show anything. And is this before I go further, is this a new IP or is this off of something existing?
It was a new, you know, in past tense, because it's canceled. It was a brand new IP. Rumor was it was supposed to be like a 4-player co-op heist game. So I'm thinking like probably because they had like toy cars up there and the whole little map of like, you know, I guess like blueprints, that it was going to have like cars in it. And I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah, so it's the combination of them showing a CGI trailer that tells you almost nothing, and it's a new IP, which means, you know, it's hard to get excited for a new IP based off of a CGI trailer that told you nothing. So, I mean, you know, I feel for the team, because even if they, you know, everybody keeps Oh my god, don't even get me freaking started.
Remember that first trailer? It was just a spaceship with a sandwich. It was just like
spaceship and a sandwich.
What are we doing here? Yeah.
You know, the thing that sucks though is, I mean, let's just say best case scenario, the studio remains intact, everybody keeps their jobs. The part that sucks is however many years they worked on this, they can't put it on their resume as a game they shipped. So that part sucks. But the flip side is, if the studio remains intact, at least everybody still has employment. And that's the most positive spin that I can put on this. But as far as the game itself, it's hard to be disappointed based off of, you know, almost nothing. So, I mean, you know, hopefully the team can do something, you know, something great if they decide to return to Just Cause. You know, I heard the fourth one was decent, but nowhere near as good as the third one. I, you know, got them on sale for super cheap a couple weeks ago. But, you know, hopefully they can maybe do another one of those and, you know, pump something out. But otherwise, yeah, that's really all I got for it.
Yeah, I can't say I'm like really broken up about this. Again, you know, I hope everyone that was working on the game ends up getting reassigned to something else that Avalanche has in store, maybe a Just Cause 4 or something like that. But I'm not surprised. Five. But like, I'm not surprised that this got canceled. I really do feel like this got canceled when they shut down all those games and studios and stuff. And it's just that the game was so irrelevant. I mean, like, people literally forgot it was even announced. This game was so irrelevant that, like, yeah, right. So, like, no one knew because no one checked up to find out. And Microsoft isn't going to volunteer that information just willingly. It's when people find out that something has been canceled due to devs who worked on the team and said, yeah, my game just got canceled, or devs and studios find out they just got laid off because they just shut down the studio. And when they speak publicly on those things, then games media and the gaming community finds out, and then they question Microsoft, who then confirms it. But when no one cares about the game, when no one remembers it existed, it gets canceled and no one says anything.
Nobody says anything.
So
yeah, because nobody knew anything about it. So
I knew nothing about it. Exactly. Fortunately.
Right. But on to I guess nicer news. Battlefield 6 open beta has come out, and you know, it's been pretty good. You know, it's in early access right now, so like essentially the only way to really play it until this weekend, where the open beta is fully open and just anyone can just install it for free and play it, is you either have to pre-order the game in order to get into it, or you could watch a partner streamer play it. And if you do that on Twitch and you link your account to your EA account, within 30 minutes you'll get yourself a code to get into the open beta a little early. So that's how I got into it. I'm fairly certain that's how Forte got into it, and most people who tried the game out.
Man, you picked that dude off in that corridor. Oh my god,
he put that work in, bro. That's what I'm talking about.
Homeboy came around that corner and got
he caught a 2-piece.
He got a 20-piece.
Man, I did okay. Forte.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're itching to really like get into this. What's going on with Battlefield 6 open beta? How you enjoying it, man?
I will be in there as soon as we're off the stream. I'm surprised I haven't booted it up and started playing while we're doing this stream. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm surprised by that too. Not saying you should, but I'm just saying I'm also surprised that you.
No. Yeah. No, I really don't want to say this, but I feel like this closed beta is probably the best one they had so far. I've been in every closed beta that they've done for a Battlefield, going all the way back to Battlefield 3. And they always had like server issues, connection issues. bullet deviation, bullet, just a whole bunch of just crazy, desync in the game,
issues,
hit detection, had it all. And I played 3 games today, and there was a queue for the first game. I was in a queue. It was like 183,000 people ahead of me, which was fine. But I was within like fast. It went pretty fast. It was dropping by the thousands and stuff. So I was in probably like 10 minutes, 5 minutes for that first queue. Ever since then, every time I jumped in, I've been able to get right into the game, and the controls are amazing. It feels, I can't speak to console because I haven't played it on console, played it on PC, but it plays. Exactly. As you should. But it plays phenomenal. It controls phenomenal. I'm not seeing any issues when it comes to desync, bullet deviation, just controlling my character. None of the stuff that I thought, well, not that I thought, but things that I saw in past closed betas. Now, I want to say that I think they are onto something and hope that they are, because if the game plays like it's playing right now when they open those servers up over this weekend on the 9th and they have open beta, I'm definitely celebrating at that point, because I think that's the
I was thinking about that too. I'm cautiously optimistic about how well it ran, but you know what it reminded me of? Remember Outriders?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In the beta, Outriders had no issues.
I
didn't know anybody that had any problems when I was in beta. When the game launched, it was a freaking mess, and I'm just like, what happened?
What happened?
What happened from beta to launch?
All his stuff.
Oh he's a poster child.
Cognito
lost his clothes.
Couldn't even log into the game, and when he finally logged in, his entire character was gone. So it's just like I'm trying. That's a cautionary tale as far as I'm concerned, because I like how this didn't I didn't have any issues whatsoever.
None.
And I'm like, man, this is great. But then I'm like, I remember though. I'm
side-eyeing it.
Yeah. So hopefully, it remains solid, and then it doesn't come out and it's just like, oh, well, servers are slammed. I'm like, so why did you have a beta that had over 250,000 people, actually 350,000 people on Steam alone playing the game, and somehow you don't have you weren't prepared for the crush of the server capacity? Like, what are we doing? Man? Come on.
Yeah, that's my only fear, because I truly believe if we get even 90% of what this is right now when the game launches, or even when the open beta starts, that will answer a lot, because anybody can jump, and then you're also opening it up to any platform at that point. So it did this cross-play and cross-save and all the other stuff cross-play will still be a thing, but cross-save doesn't really take effect until the game comes out. But the fact that all of that stuff will be open and available for people to do will really it will really tell me, like, are they ready for the big times when it comes to it? Because it shockingly plays. I knew it was going to play good. I didn't expect it to play that good. And I also didn't expect the servers to be as fluent as they were. And the snappiness of getting in one map and out of another map. The menus are there. The menus work perfectly. There's a scoreboard. Now the scoreboard looks super generic, but the scoreboard is there. I can't be mad. The scoreboard is there. It's there. And I think there's a lot of other menus that are kind of missing right now. Like, have like the stat tracing tacking screen, because it's only in, none of that stuff's going to carry over to the full version of the game. You're gonna have to start from scratch anyway. But for the stuff that should be there, it's really good. Performance has been great. I got everything on ultra settings, 3840 by 1600, and playing basically at 3K with I was running like 163 frames per second which is phenomenal in this game. And I'm just
4K, max settings 4K, and getting like averaging like 120. It didn't stay at 120, but kind of like it would kind of fluctuate between 100 and 120. But it was, when you don't have massive variance at those frame rates, then you don't really notice the when it's like kind of moving around that bit. You say you did 3 matches. Which modes did you do?
I did escalation, conquest, and domination.
Okay. Well, which one did you enjoy the most? I think I already know, but go ahead.
Oh, honestly, escalation is really cool, bro. Did you play escalation?
Escalation again? Which one is that again?
It's where as the maybe it wasn't escalation. I take that back. Breakthrough. Sorry, escalation I didn't play because escalation is the new mode. Escalation is a new mode where it the map shrinks as the match goes on, and they take capture points away to kind of force you to the middle of the map. So it's like a reverse battle royale without it just shrinks the map, and then the points go away. So it makes you focus more in the center, and then the first team that captured that's the smallest ring, the first team to capture 3 maps and hold them wins the game. But that's what escalation is, and that seems like that's going to be really cool. But it's basically a more hardcore version of conquest. But I really enjoy breakthrough, but breakthrough is like putting a certain body part in a grinder, which is ridiculous. It
takes too long.
The
previous
so long.
Gameplay I showed earlier was breakthrough.
Yeah.
And man, that match took forever.
It does.
It was like a good 35 minutes, and I was just like, good, it's still going. And I forgot what this mode is, but like this is more of like smaller map. Ain't got like crazy vehicles out here. People ain't in jets, bombing me with jets and stuff. Like this is where I like to play it at. And I had a good time, even though like I pretty much went with the domination playlist, which had this mode in it, and it had breakthrough and one more. And it was just really giving me those 3 modes. I kind of stayed from conquest away from conquest. I haven't done that one yet. I do want to. I kind of wish the battle royale was available, because I kind of want to try that. You see what their take on battle royale is going to be like. But I was enjoying it. Like the gunplay is good. I haven't really I haven't played around with too many weapons. I'm just using what is like MA33 something, whatever it's called. That's the only weapon I've really used so far. I wanted to kind of like get all the attachments for it before I moved on to another gun. So, but I haven't, like I played it earlier, like sometime around the afternoon time, and then I didn't get a chance to play it again. So I probably won't get, because I got a really early morning tomorrow with work. I probably won't get a chance to play it until like the afternoon tomorrow. But I've been liking it so far. It's been pretty good. I would like to get a squad together. Like a nice little team. So that and everyone got their own roles, and they know how to handle things. And Forte, I kind of get it. Even though with this current gameplay on the Jumbotron, I was doing assault. In the previous gameplay I showed, I was support, and that reviving people much faster really comes in handy. It really does.
If you're the medic, if you're running around with medic, like the thing is, anybody can revive anybody, but you just have to drag them out of the way, so you can like kind of still do it safely. But then if you're a medic, you just walk over and pick them up, and it's a difference. And and team diversity really matters. Like in game modes like domination and stuff, not so much, because you don't have to really worry about tanks. And I kind of think the biggest thing, and I know you're one of the people that really could care less for the vehicle side of it. But I think that's the dynamic that makes Battlefield what it is, because you don't have to really engage with the vehicles if you don't want to. You just do. I mean, of course, if one, you know, comes around your area, you got to be very, very cautious in what you're doing. But it just opens up the gameplay for your team to just be super diverse in the things that they're doing. So if you have a situation where this tank is coming, you're in a squad of people, all you gotta do is your engineer just make their way over there and they take care of it, you know. And if people are doing their jobs the way they need to be doing them, it's just super satisfying, especially in a game like this where the maps are so big. One team can literally make a difference in a game. And I think people don't realize that. That's why they do team of the, you know, squad of the game and stuff, even knowing that parts in 2042, it wasn't showing that. It does show in this game. But if your squad is, you know, doing what it's supposed to do, it kind of still rewards you, even if your team loses, if you're doing the things you're supposed to do. And I just like seeing my name at the top of the leaderboard, you know, by, you know, throwing health out, picking people up, spotting enemies on the field. You know, that's kind of what I like to do with the recon class and everything. But I just like seeing people, and I could ping, I could throw a sensor grenade or a sensor mine out on the road, and it detects a vehicle. And then if I stick it to a tank, it turns into a laser guided beacon for my AMRAM or something from like somebody that's in a plane, or it can turn into a heat seeking for a rocket that one of the engineers have that you can unlock at later stages. It's just the diversity in your team. You kind of look at build diversity as a squad versus as an individual person in this game. And that's the thing I like about Battlefield the most. And it's always been about the performance in Battlefield. If the performance was great, I think more people would appreciate it and more people would play it. But that hasn't been the case. And I feel like if this stays the way that it is right now, with some tweaks to like some of the little things that they need to add to it, I think they on to something, bro.
Yeah, it just kind of hit me because I was just remembering there was one bug that I noticed, and it's a bug I noticed multiple times. And so essentially I couldn't tell if the teammate was actually dead or needed to be revived, but the game was showing as if I could revive this teammate. Mm-hmm. And they were kind of like moving on the ground in a way that kind of like gave me the impression that I could revive them, but it wouldn't let me. And so it's like I couldn't tell if it was just like a mistake, like the character, like the teammate was actually dead, but it was like not showing me that, or if it was just a bug, because I'm trying to revive them and nothing's happening. And I literally I attempted it 2 or 3 times, and I was trying to drag the teammate out of the open, and I ended up getting shot for it. And so I was just like, but every time I seen that happen, it's when the person had died on like uneven terrain. Like they're laying on rubble from a building that had just got destroyed, or part of a building got destroyed. So I don't know if it's like a geometry issue, like there's some clipping or collision issue with the ground and the player laying there that kind of caused it to perform that way. But you know, just something they probably need to get sorted, and I'm fairly certain that, because I saw it happen in multiple matches, that other people had noticed that too. So I think that hopefully, you know, DICE gets this fixed before launch. But that was the only bug I noticed the whole time, actually.
Yeah. I agree.
Anything else you guys want to say about this before we move on?
Move it on.
All right, so let's get into some bad news. We went from good news, bad news. It ain't looking too good for Marathon, man.
I told you that.
It's not looking too high for Marathon. So there's a lot. there's a lot to discuss here on this because this is coming from comments from Sony's CFO, and they recently did an earnings call and delivered a lot of good news as far as their sales go, as far as the breakdown of how they're making money and where they seem to be making money in a multitude of different ways, and it's very good for them. But when it comes to the live service push, that has not been successful. And one of the disappointments is definitely Marathon, and it's not just the plagiarism. It's not just, it's a lot of things. It's the fact that they making an extraction shooter, and it planned on coming out with so little content that it was almost guaranteed to fail. They had a alpha running, while at the same time Arc Raiders, another extraction shooter that was supposed to come out around the same time, was running a beta, and that I did not see one person who played both who preferred Marathon over Arc Raiders. Like, that's just not a good look. But they say they are still planning on releasing the game by March 2026, which is the end of Sony's fiscal year. Mm-hmm. And they plan on announcing the release date sometime this fall. And to quote the CFO from Sony, I think her name is Lin Tao. To quote her, she said that we fine. I'm sorry, I lost it for a second. We are now fixing the problems. So we believe this launch will happen. That sentence right there. So we believe this launch will happen. And then she says, and if this launch is canceled, we need to do the revision of the valuation. However, as of now, this is not expected. So when you introduce the thought that this game might be canceled, that's a very, very real thing. Like, even most companies wouldn't even say that publicly. Even if it's like behind the scenes, it got one more hiccup, one more setback or roadblock before they decide to cancel it. They're not going to say that to everyone else, especially not their shareholders. But for her to admit that was pretty telling, as far as I'm concerned. What was it? We all kind of understand, because this is also something that is already affecting how Bungie will be running in the future. Because when they were acquired by Sony, they agreed to the acquisition under the terms that they would maintain their own independence. But this independence has been somewhat eroded since the acquisition, as Bungie has failed to meet critical success. They have failed to meet commercial success, and they have really tarnished their own reputation, as well as that as PlayStation's as well. And to go back to Lin Tao, the Sony CFO, she said here that this independence is getting lighter. So Bungie is shifting into a role which is becoming more of a PlayStation studio. And integration is also proceeding. In the long term, you can see this as an ongoing process. So the direction is to become part of PlayStation Studio. So this whole separate, we do our own thing, that's done. And we kind of saw how that was playing out when they pitched that Gummy Bears live service game. And Sony was like, yeah, that sounds amazing. Take that whole team, make them a studio. Get them away from you, because we don't trust you. And it's crazy because it seems like when they acquired them, Jim Ryan was bragging about how this was like a better acquisition than even ABK for Microsoft, because Bungie isn't just going to be good for us as far as making content, but Bungie is going to go and teach all of our other studios how to do the same thing. and none of that happened. So let's talk about this, Forte. What are your thoughts about Marathon potentially being canceled, and about Bungie getting assimilated like the Borg?
Well, I said Marathon was canceled when they delayed it because all the things
you did.
That game's canceled. They just don't want to tell people yet. Because it's too much. It's too many things that need to change in that game in order to make it whole. And I just feel like I don't think PlayStation's going to give them the time to do that. And I would, if I was Sony, I would tell them to, at this point, instead of spending 2 to 3, like 1 to 2 years fixing Marathon, how about we switch this development over and start making a game that we know is successful in Destiny and make a Destiny 3 and spend an extra year in development doing that. I feel like that would be a better usage of the time than working on a game that literally I still think is dead on arrival even a year to 2 years from now due to the fact of the type of game it is and the stake you have in that studio.
Forte.
Go ahead.
Destiny 1 and 2 were successful games, but Bungie could not be a self-sustaining business with Destiny. Like, it costs too much to develop the game the way they did, and they didn't make enough money off of, despite having a big community, a big install base, they didn't generate enough money to make it self-sustaining. So I wonder now that, like, and remember something that the guy who's the CEO now, but he was running SIE at one point for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be the CFO. Totoki.
Yeah.
Something Totoki has said about Bungie is, he said they're very creative. They have a lot of talent. I like how what they're working on, but they got, like, to paraphrase him, he said they got no business sense. And they need to be more efficient, and they need to, like, so like when he's saying things like that, he's saying you're too wasteful. You got like 800 developers without contractors, and you're dropping annual content and seasonal content, and you're not making enough money to justify the cost that's going into all of this. I say all that to say, I do agree with you that they need to come up with something else, and I think they probably already have something prototyped. I think they're already pitching Sony on the next thing after Marathon.
No, that thing is done, bro. Marathon was it.
Well, this is what I was gonna say. If Sony approves of some new prototype or something, like, if you're Sony, are you going to continue to have the bulk of the studio working on what looks to be a guaranteed loser? Or if you've approved of a prototype of another project, you would just be like, yo, just go ahead and just put everybody on this other thing. We're going to cancel Marathon. You guys start working on this, because the more people, the more resources you have dedicated to the new game, the faster it's going to get out.
Yep. I agree with that.
I don't think that's Destiny 3, because I think that if it is Destiny 3, it's not going to be Destiny the way you loved it.
Oh, no, I know that.
Because that's too expensive to make. It's going to be something that will be a bit more agile in development, something that will have far less content than what you got from Destiny 1 and 2, because it's going to be something that where they can say, hey, look, we want to make sure we're coming out in the black on this and not the red. So that's why I kind of feel like it's probably be a brand new IP altogether and not Destiny.
The problem is Destiny 3 doesn't have to be what Destiny 2 was, because the problem, like, even Destiny 1 when it came out the gate was bare bones. Destiny 2 when it came out the gate was bare bones. Like, they They just changed a lot of the things. It like the problem with Destiny and Bungie's perception of the way that they went about doing it is they just couldn't live up to they still wanted to make seasonal content, but then they also didn't like the crunch that it took for them to like be annualized every other year under Activision to make a sequel to the game, because that was the plan under Activision. It was, Destiny 2, Destiny 1, 2 big DLCs in between. Then by going into the third year, you were going to get Destiny 3. That's why and remember, they not Destiny 3. You were going to get Destiny 2. Remember, Destiny 2 was supposed to come out in 2016. It didn't come out to 2017 because they delayed it by a year when they were under Activision. So they wanted to have annualized every other year with DLCs in the middle, which was a perfect plan. But the thing is, Bungie overextended in the making of their DLCs and kind of hindered them in when it came to everything. I don't need them to do what they did in some of those other DLCs and stuff. I don't need like them to be these sprawling giant vistas and anything like that, because that wasn't the thing that people fell in love with when it came to Destiny. It was just the chase of the loot, the chase of, the pinnacles, the different activities, the raids and stuff. If they could just come out with a DLC every year, and then they could just maintain it, because this the thing, they didn't know how long they were going to be able to function off of Destiny 2, but they also didn't give it a chance because they cut it off at the knees when they started developing Marathon. And all of the things that made Destiny 2 great left, especially when you talk about the PvP side of it. They took the whole PvP team completely out of Destiny and was running it on a skeleton crew, and that alienated 30 to 40% of the player base. And that was when I got to the point where I just didn't want to do the same thing. Like, I love PvP. I did it all the time, mindlessly all the time. But then it got to a point where I just I'm done, because my release was PvP, and I just refused to do that because I got tired of the same thing over and over again. I think they'll get a lot of support if they did something like that. But I also don't think that this is the thing. You're right. I don't think Bungie has anything else. Like, I think Gummy Bears was the other thing, and they already removed that from underneath them and put that under another umbrella inside of SIE. That's why a lot of people think that Bungie, if Marathon doesn't come out, what good are they going to do at that point? I think they'll just siphon off the people at the studio, and then the studio will just become no more at that point. Because I just think that's the new direction. Like, those people will still be there. They just won't be under Bungie anymore. They already showed that they're willing to take high-level, competent developers and transfer them to a different room inside the Bungie Studios. And that part of the studio is under a new leadership under, SIE at this point. So I think that's more of and I hate to say that, but I think that's more of the future that happens if Marathon does get canceled, because I don't think they have anything else of note that would be something that they can lean on. Because guess what? If they did, I think Sony would have took that too. And I don't think they were working on something else big enough for them to do it, because as soon as we found out about Project Gummy Bears, and we know they have another, they spun up 3 incubation projects. They still were working on Destiny. They had Marathon and Project Gummy Bears. Those were their 3 projects. And at that time, their third project was the DLC for the DLC Final Shape that came out, which is, I forget what the code name of it was at that time. I don't think there is anything else, SloMo. So honestly, what are they going to do with that studio if they do cancel Marathon? Because that was supposed to be the lifeblood that brought more money back into Bungie that Destiny wasn't going to be bringing long term because they were sunsetting. Because I think Destiny 2 is sunset at this point, bro. To be honest, I think they're running out of content. The fact that they're adding Star Wars and leaning on crutches like other IPs to kind of bolster their game is a sign that we are coming up to the end of what we know we can do in this franchise, in the state of the franchise that it is now. And I don't know if they're even interested in making a Destiny 3 because I don't think that's ever been part of the plan. So that's kind of how I look at it at this point.
Destiny 3 definitely wasn't part of the plan, but I kind of feel like, you know how it is with TV shows when and Ramon knows what I'm talking about, like the showrunners, the creators, the writers, they had a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the story arc of these characters, the plot, and all that, they wrote it out and they completed it, and it was good. But then the network comes by and they're just like, yeah, I know you ain't gonna leave it like that though, right? We making so much money. Don't you want to do it again? Don't you want to do another season? But what story is there to tell? Like, sure, you get the actors to re-up, you're making all this money, everybody making money like crazy, but now the show sucks. Or the movie sucks when you go back and do another one just because you know it's popular. Because you completed the story arc. And now the design of the character, the motivations of that character, everything now has nothing to do with what you had created before and the meaning of things. And it feels hollow.
And then they're talking to the creators, talking about, yeah, we're really disappointed at the performance of this your latest efforts. Yeah, no shit, because it wasn't planned and it doesn't make sense.
Right. And so I say that when it comes to Destiny 3, if they never intended to make one, how do you think that's going to turn out when they decide that, if you decide to have them do that? Because what else are they going to do? Well, it's not going to be as successful, more than likely not going to be as successful as the other stuff when they never intended on doing that. What story is there to tell now? Like, what else is there to do within that universe? This is why I like, and maybe it's wishful thinking, I just hope they do a new IP. And I hope they have a kind of like, it'd be kind of weird to say a return to form, because a lot of the people are there. I mean, some of them are still a lot of people who worked at Bungie for over a decade, but a lot of the people that we know from their prime, right? You know, like their heyday, aren't there anymore. So it's just like, it really would need to be something different, but still have some of the trademark kind of gameplay that people expect from Bungie. But I don't think you can go back to that well again. I don't think you can go back to the Destiny well and expect it to be successful. I don't see it.
It very rarely works out. Very rarely works out.
But anything else y'all want to say on this before we move on to the last topic of tonight?
Well, I just hope Gummy Bears ends up being something, you know, with promise. As far as Bungie absorbing into PlayStation, I mean, there might have been a time where I'd say that's probably for the good because they can't manage themselves. But, you know, in my opinion, Sony has some cleaning to do in their own house before, you know, it seems like they'd be effective at managing anything more than they already have. So
interesting that you say that, because the next topic is about Sony. It is about their leadership and what they got going on. And so they, as I mentioned earlier, they released a lot of good financial information in regards to, in details of how their first quarter of this fiscal year has gone. and a lot of it was looking really good. I mean, they now have shipped over 80.3 million PlayStation 5 consoles, which is pretty awesome. The PS5 hardware sales increased 4.1% this quarter, compared to the 2.5 from the previous. Games and network services sales are up 8% year over year. Operating income, their profit has climbed as well as that's up plus 127%. Software sales reached 65.9 million, up 23% year over year. They just styling on them now. They just we look at us. Look at us. We doing good, right? So PSN monthly active users increased 6% compared to the last year, the same period. And again, to go back to the Sony CFO, and she said that now everything's great because that live service strategy is not entirely going smoothly for us. But they will continue to pursue live service games, and they intend to learn from their mistakes. And so it's funny that you mentioned that, Ramon, because although everything is looking great, there's a reason why they're really focusing on this live service thing. And we've mentioned this before here, but like for the past 3 years, over 50% of all the revenue that they generate on an annual basis comes from 12 games. And those 12 games are all live service games. And Forte, guess how many of those 12 live service games Sony has created?
1.
0.
Oh yeah, 0. You're right. Yeah, I forgot.
0.
They ain't create that. That's why they got that. That's why they said their next game is going to be multiplayer.
They essentially, none of those games are games that they make. They're all games either made by Microsoft or Take-Two or EA. They're not made by them, and so they're only getting 30% instead of 100% of the revenue from those games. And so when you see the majority of the people on your platform are playing these kind of titles, you want a piece of that. You want a bigger piece of that. You need to tell your shareholders want a bigger piece of that. So this is where the focus now becomes, where you have to create something like that may not be quite in the wheelhouse of the developers that you have, in your stable, but you find a way, you try to figure it out.
Yo, SloMo, do you see what For Smoking said in the chat? That is a good point.
How many of those live service games were created in the last 10 years? Okay, let me find it.
That's a really good point.
If I could find the graphic from that. It was a screenshot from their earnings call, their end of fiscal year earnings call back in, may have been June. But let me find it so I can get the exact number of the games that are in that list. Now, some of them are annual release titles like EA Sports. So EA Madden comes out every year. EAFC Sports, college football, they all come out every year. Call of Duty is in there, that comes out every year. NBA 2K comes out every single year. But Fortnite, when you say in the last decade, Fortnite came out in 2017. So that's still within the last decade. I can't find it. Why? I always can't find something when I'm looking for.
What are you looking for?
That's pretty close to the decade mark, though, to say that it's cemented. It's like a mountain cemented in the genre.
Right, but also that is consistent across all platforms. And even more so on PC. Some of the games on PC that are the biggest games on PC, like League of Legends and World of Warcraft, these games have been out for freaking forever, you know. So like when when you're dealing with that, it doesn't really change the dynamics of things. Like when the majority of the people on your platform are playing the same games. This is why everyone who is a publisher are financing those kind of titles, because they're trying to get in there. They're trying to be one of those games that's in there. Very soon, Marvel Rivals could be one of those games. But you know, if you're not attempting to make that kind of content, then of course you're not going to be in that small little fraternity.
Right.
You know,
what do you go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, the thing that like Helldivers, will return to Helldivers. One of the big reasons, in my opinion, Helldivers did so well is because it did something that I can't, off the top of my head, think of any live service games doing. Now, you know, I don't play, online multiplayer games. I don't play live service games. I bought Helldivers. I mean, to this day, like, I would like to return to it at some point. But I bought Helldivers. So they captured someone who does not play that genre. Why? Because I am not a fan of PvP. I'm a big fan of PvE. That's why I enjoyed Destiny when I played Destiny 1 with my friends, because it was PvE. Whenever they were like, all right, man, we're going into the Iron Banner, everybody would joke because they're like, yeah, I know, Ramon. Yeah, we just hang with us for a minute, and I would go in with them. And, it was all right, but I never had as much fun. But PvE stuff, I'd have a blast. You know what I mean? So Helldivers did what it did because it addressed a market that people that wasn't being addressed, or at least not being addressed very much, but it's something that people actually do like, and I wish they would kind of learn from that. You literally need only ask the community what they like. Nobody wants extraction shooters. Nobody's checking for that. PvE, I mean, they've already seen what's going on with PvE. They could literally make another PvE game of a different type, and I seriously believe it would do well, because it would be it's still an underserviced part of the a genre in that business. So I wish they would just take a look at what's not being serviced, and that could be that golden goose they've been looking for, because trying to do what these giants are already doing, I mean, yeah, you can, anything's possible, but you're already fighting from a losing position trying to unseat those. It's just like if a new player tried to get into the console market and take on PlayStation. Sure, it can be done, but the mountainous task that it would be to do something like that it's daunting, and it's a similar situation. So I just wish they would take a look at Helldivers, say what made this work, probably the PvE thing, maybe do a survey, I don't know, but I just really think if they would go the PvE route again, because it's so underserviced, I think that would do something. And maybe they may not ever get their Fortnite or their Battlefield or whatnot, but a couple or a few really good Helldivers, I think, would be something really worthwhile. But I just hope that they don't start, and it looks like they are, but I hope they don't start falling into the trap that in the publishing business, where publishers no longer want mid-list authors that were the backbone. They want all the home run hitters. They want all of the the Sandersons and the Salvatores and the George Martins, instead of a healthy mid-list. And it's the same with this. They want home runs. It's like home runs are a very hard thing to do. There's too many random factors that play into it. So and nobody really knows what's going to hit. So, I mean, in an area of uncertainty like that, look at what your success is and build on that. But, you know, do I think they'll do that? Probably not.
I mean, I agree to a degree, but you have to try. Like when you see where the market's going, and us old heads, we like games that just the overall larger market don't care for no more. Doesn't mean they're gonna stop making those kind of games, but they're not the bigger priority than it is for a game that can basically finance a lot of other stuff. And Helldivers 2 did awesome, but we can also acknowledge that they were shocked that Helldivers 2 did so good. It got less marketing than you saw from their other titles that they were coming out with, and yet outperformed them. And then something that kind of lends towards their new approach now, because their CEO says that they're transitioning from being so hardware focused into being more platform focused, is the fact that Helldivers 2, probably their most successful new IP this generation, is primarily played on PC than PlayStation. So when you kind of see all these things, it means, we gotta make some changes, and we have to continue to keep adapting to how the market's moving. Doesn't mean that we lose who we are. I mean, of course, they're still going to put a lot that, like, their single player games for the most part on PlayStation first and put them on PC or other platforms later. But when you're financing a certain amount of content, I think the intention was correct with wanting to make so many live service games. They attempted 12, and I think they were kind of hoping that, hey, like, one of them is going to 12 live service games. One of them is going to hit. One of them is going to be what we're looking for. But the execution wasn't quite there, because you end up canceling the vast majority of those games. So clearly, just approving of a bunch of stuff without actually having the understanding of what's necessary, what really works, what's really going to get people interested in your game. When you come out with Concord, you spend all that money and almost nobody plays it. And don't tell me you didn't have focus test groups play the game, look at the game, and tell you what they thought. Don't tell me you didn't know that people thought all your characters were lame and stupid looking. and didn't want to play, even attempt to play that was a very good hero shooter. But because you got green looking alien soccer moms in there, they're just like, no, I'm good, bro. It's just like you're hurting yourself. Who makes a hero shooter and doesn't put Gooner material in it? Just keep it a buck. Who makes a hero shooter that doesn't put Gooner material in it? Oh, Ninja Theory does with Bleeding Edge. How did that turn out? Same way.
I don't even play those types of games, and I looked at it and I gritted my teeth. I was just like, I don't know about this. And I don't even play those kind of games. I was like, it's
just common sense to what you do. And so it's like you gotta kick the egos out the door. If your art director gets upset that you said, hey, look, your stuff looks terrible for this kind of game, look, you need to have no ego and understand that this is about business. And there's a lot of hardworking people who spend a lot of time coming up with unique systems for this game, who spend a lot of time making sure that it's bug free, who spend a lot of time, a lot of money on all these expensive cutscenes. Let's not screw all that up for your pride, because you don't like that people don't want to play as an obese Indian kid. and I'm dead ass like that's
I know you
one of the
dead
healers in the
serious
game.
too.
Like one of the healers, he's an obese Indian kid rolling around and do. I'm like, what are we doing here, bro? Like, come on. Like this isn't a checklist of hey, we represented this group, we represented that group. No, make some cool characters, bro. Make some cool characters, make some sexy characters. You may not like it, but do you want a job? Because this will keep you employed. You know, you can go, you know, make your millions and then leave the studio and make your own, you know, indie slop that no one's gonna play.
You know, the thing is you can represent different types of characters, but in certain types of games. You know what I mean? Like it can work in certain games. It just doesn't. You know what I mean? Like that same character could be fine in a different type of game, like maybe in an RPG as a supporting character, or you know, depending on how you structure it, maybe even the lead character. But that same character isn't going to work in a hero shooter. You know what I mean? So I mean that you know, it's admirable that they want to represent different types of people, and I think that's important. But you can't do that with everything. It doesn't work for everything, you know. And I think that's their biggest mistake is, you know, you want to represent folks, fine, but you have to do it with the correct material, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah. Forte, anything else you want to say about that? It seemed like you had some thoughts.
I mean, 12 live services, they jumped out the window too early. I think they still need to try, because that's where the consensus of the market is at. But I don't think they can just. I think they lost all the ability to like kind of theory craft and like kind of take their time with it. I think at this point, I won't say they lost their thing. I think they still need to take their time and need to find a thing that's going to be right. But they don't really, they don't have any room for error anymore. It's like, you know, their plan was to like put out 12 games or 13 games and see and kind of like saturate the market and see what sticks. And I feel like that would have worked if the plan wasn't to like release so many in such close succession to each other, or at least have a vision in place for who is going to make these games. You know, you kind of try to transform your first party studios that were, you know, more tenured in other areas of game development and tried to like kind of put that off on them. And some of those studios were probably going to be successful. We know that the Guerrilla team is still working on their version of a live service game when it comes to the multiplayer version of Horizon that's going on. And we also know that, and the thing is, I also think that we're going to probably see something, because I think Factions is still there. I just think that thing is on super hold right now due to, you know, Naughty Dog in the direction that they want to go and make sure that they get, you know, Intergalactic out the window or out the door, I should say.
They were told they would need to completely change the studio and have the entire studio.
I think at that point though, I think if as long as they have, well, they were the ones developing it, and I think that's another thing too. They need to bring in a studio that is, I mean, and that's what Bungie was supposed to be, and that's not what Bungie is at this point anymore. But they need somebody that can like maintain that game after they launch it. Like, I think for the most part, making the game is now I won't say easy, but making the game and getting it out the door for people to play is more easier than it is to maintain the game, because you know you only have to like put the story in place, put the gameplay mechanics in place, which is still a lot. But when you're talking about live service, the tail of the game is going to be the longevity. Like, what are you doing to keep people there past the first 5 to 6 months? That's always going to be the conversation around live service games. And I think Naughty Dog can get the game out the door, and they don't have to be, I mean, they can still be hands-on with some of the updates and stuff that happens with a game like that, but they don't have to be the ones that have to maintain it. They just have to have, you know, consult on the things that another studio that's working on that stuff.
Just wrong. Because Valorant Riot Games, the studio that the team within Riot Games that makes Valorant, which is extremely successful, like nearly 1 million players concurrently every day. That game had 100 devs when it launched.
But we're also
just 100 devs under Riot Games were making that. They could have just developed out the team that was the multiplayer team under Naughty Dog that was working on Factions 2 and just build that out. But they listened to Bungie, and here we are. So I just feel like if there's, I don't know if they're still listening to Bungie, but it may be just too late for them to revive that at this point. I don't know. But
it might be.
I mean, want to pull this up because this was For Smoking in the chat asked about like how many of those games are 10 years old or older, and so specifically this was the graphic that came from Sony that I was referencing. And so it's for the last 3 fiscal years, where we have fiscal year 22, 23, and 24, they have just these titles have been 53% of the revenue, 51% of the revenue, and 53% of the revenue again, compared to 8K, 9K, and 12,000 games. Just these titles are out earning 12,000 games. That is the EA Sports
insane
and Roblox, which just showed up on PlayStation 2 years ago, Call of Duty, NBA 2K, the EA Play subscription, Fortnite, Genshin Impact, which also is not a super old game. Genshin Impact is like what, 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
EA College Football, which just came back last year. So EA College Football is in this small fraternity after 1 year. Of course, Grand Theft Auto been out for 2 generations, and Ubisoft Plus Classics. These 2 subscriptions and those other 4 games, 53% of their revenue. And none of these games are made by Sony. When they look at these numbers, they're happy for the 30%, but they want that 70%. And if you don't understand what I mean, in order to put your game on the PlayStation platform, microtransactions, all that other stuff, they get a 30% cut. They get a 30% cut of the sale of the game. They get a 30% cut if you sell an expansion on PSN. Microtransactions in Fortnite, 30% cut. They get that. Except for Call of Duty, because in order to keep Call of Duty, they had to lower their cut to like, what was it, 12% or something like that we saw in the contract. So, sometimes there are deals, that are put into place. But essentially, this is what they're seeing, and they want more of the pot. They want more of that money, because it's going to everyone else. And now we're seeing, if you look at like the top played games on PlayStation, on PSN, you look at the most sold games recently on PSN, it's a lot of Xbox games.
Yeah.
And that's 70% of that's going to Microsoft instead of you. So when you're looking at like, we just spent $300 million making Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 cracks that top 10 every now and then, but it's mostly like in the 11 to 20s. Meanwhile, Roblox is a rock solid top 5 in revenue generating and monthly active users every single month. When the leadership is looking at like, what's the next game we need to make, they're gonna start talking about Roblox instead of Spider-Man 3, which isn't coming out until like another 3 years. It's just, I don't like it because I like some of these games, but I don't want like NBA 2K is an annual release game. So is Madden, so is FC Football, so is EA College Football. They don't change much from year to year because they don't have enough time. They have like a 9-month development cycle.
Right.
All you can do is update your rosters, add a minor feature that you blow up like it's a big deal, and then get that thing out the door where it's playable. You don't have the time to really innovate off of the foundation of what the game is. I don't want to see that for so many more games. I don't want to see PlayStation do what Epic did. Even though Epic is very successful, but Epic used to make more games than just Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But when Fortnite got super successful, they canceled a bunch of they canceled games that were already out. They canceled projects that they were working on because all those teams had to start supporting Fortnite. So I don't want to see that happen to PlayStation. I want them to still maintain their identity, but I do understand the business side of things. The business side of things is the kind of games that we love from them is not going to get the leadership to save their job. Shareholders want big, massive year-over-year growth, no matter how unrealistic or senseless that
Insatiable.
is. And you need to, if you were Totoki or Nishino or Herman Host, you need to be delivering on what the shareholders ask for. And if you're not, they're gonna find somebody who will. And if you fail at it, they're gonna find someone else who will do the vision and execute it correctly. Like it's just like there's no going back. So because I think what I'm really trying to get down to is that there's no going back to them not focusing on live service games. They're absolutely going to continue to keep doing that because it's important to them. And it may not be important to you, but frankly, they feel like they got you. You gonna buy the next you gonna buy a PlayStation 6. You're gonna buy the handheld they're working on. They got you. They're not worried about you. They want a game that they publish in that exclusive group.
Golden Goose.
That's all they're looking for, man.
And I want to add on to that. For those of you who enjoy the single player experiences, the Ghost of Tsushimas and God of War Ragnaroks and everything, if you haven't, I urge you to broaden your mind and your tastes a little bit and support indies and double A's, because they are the ones who are going to keep our hobby healthy. So you guys need to start looking at more of them. They're out there. And ironically, talking about Epic, I have major issues with Unreal Engine, but ironically, they have enabled indies to punch way above their weight. And they're making games that are starting to blur the lines between AA and AAA. And I mean, we need look no further than Expedition 33. I don't know if that's Epic, but you get my point. We need to look no further than... Okay, that's Unreal Engine. So Expedition 33 and this new game that's coming out, Echoes of the Fallen, I think it is. If you haven't heard of that, look that one up. I think it's called Echoes of the Fallen or something like that. And it is, I mean, it definitely looks like an Epic, a UE5 game, I should say. But it's, it's another one of those games that at least looks to blur the lines. So, I mean, you need to get out there and support these folks, man, because, these studios that are looking for that golden goose, if they get it, it'll be great for them, but it might not necessarily be great for us. I mean, things could go well and they could, say, well, we got our golden goose. We can still produce, our Tsushimas and God of Wars and, Infamous and whatever. But there's also a high likelihood that when the shark smells blood, it's going to go for it even more. And we could see the stuff that we like start to diminish, especially when, these new age gamers out here, don't, I'm not going to even go on a rant, but, don't go for the same type of stuff. So, attention span, so support these folks because they're giving us the stuff that, that we really want. And just because they don't have these gigantic budgets doesn't mean you shouldn't give them the time of day and take a look at them. So, check them out. because
you mentioned Expedition 33, and it's my game of the year, and it's a lot of people's game of the year. It's definitely going to be in the conversation at the very least. Massively successful, a ton of popularity.
Yep.
But the last reported number we got on sales for this game was I think they reported it because it was 33, but 3.3 million. And that may have outsold Astrobot, which I just showed. But these big publishers, like Expedition 33 is the kind of game that people said that Square Enix should have made. It's the kind of game that you would think that a lot of these big platform holders would love to have in their stable. Hey, look, if you want to play this amazing game with this great turn-based combat, with the parrying and dodging, with this awesome story and characters, you gotta come over here and do that.
Yeah.
But on all platforms, except for a Switch, 3.3 million, at least reportedly right now. So at one point, I remember Fortnite brought back the OG Battle Royale map. This was about a couple years ago. And they brought it back. It was supposed to be a limited time thing. Gentlemen, they had 25 million people concurrently playing that game at one time. When you see these kind of numbers, what's 3.5? What's 3.3 million? That's nothing. Those are rookie numbers. So when it comes to what kind of games that you're going to be pitching and what kind of games you're going to be approving, like, so glad that an independent studio like you mentioned, indies are still out here doing this. But you can't expect this from these big publishers no more. It's not what they do. They ain't about innovation. At least not in the actual games. They're not about that. Like, I remember years ago, shout out to Persona and Jay Barry. They had Sean Layden on for an interview on their podcast. And Sean Layden was talking about his concerns with the way big platforms and publishers were moving, where they're stifling innovation. Everything is so like mundane. It's the same things. They're being too safe. The budgets of games are ballooning. They're getting too high, and because they're getting so high, they're gun shy to take risk on a game that they're already spending $250 million on. And I remember sending a super chat where I said that, like, and maybe this is a bit a pie in the sky. Maybe it's a bit like, there's no real evidence of this, but I kind of feel like it's a cycle. I'm struggling to say this word correctly. It's cyclical. It's a cycle. You're gonna get these smaller developers. They get big. They become big publishers. They become big AAA studios, and then they get gun shy and they forget how they got there. Then all the talent that worked there, they leave. They go start their own studios, and what happens? They become big again. The founders of Sandfall Interactive that made Expedition 33, the founders came from Ubisoft, a publisher that in recent years has not been known for innovation. This is how it works. When people go, oh man, it sucks that BioWare isn't who they were anymore. I'm not concerned about that. Out of BioWare, okay, let's go all the way back. Out of Interplay, we got BioWare, we got Bethesda, we got inXile, we got Obsidian. We got good to great RPG makers. out of the death of Interplay. And out of the death of BioWare, there are 3 to 4 studios from former BioWare developers where they're doing their own thing. And they are showing promise. Back a decade ago, if someone said, let's go longer than that, actually. Yeah, no, a decade ago, because I've been 2015. This would have been right after Dragon Age Inquisition won Game of the Year. If you go back a decade and you told someone that's the last good game the last game that's going to be commercially and critically successful for BioWare, people were like, oh my God, what would be the state of Western RPGs? Don't worry about that. CD Projekt Red, The Witcher 3, Cyberpunk. Don't worry about that. Larian Studios, Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2, Baldur's Gate 3. There is always going to be studios who will fill the void when innovation is gone from these big ones. I'm not concerned about it whatsoever. So, Sean Layden, all the respect to that man. He knows far more about the industry than I do, and he's done far more in this industry than I have, clearly. But I don't think we have anything to worry about. People just gotta understand. Stop expecting Naughty Dog to give you something amazeballs. Naughty Dog barely makes a game a decade at this point. So while you're sitting around waiting for them to deliver the next great thing, you could be playing some of these other awesome content that's out here. Just saying.
You just saying, bro.
Anything else you guys want to say before we get up out of here?
Man, you spit it.
Well, I must say that having just started Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, playing it in 4K, maxed out, 120 frames per second, is quite frankly one of the most glorious things I've set eyes on, in spite of the UE5 jank that is really annoying. Like, I went straight out of Remake into Rebirth, and like my mouth just fell open.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. When you get to the ending, we're gonna have to talk.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, because I've heard the ending is weird. So I just started it. So
for me, there's a particular chapter. I think it's chapter 10. But it's you'll know what I'm talking about when you get there, because I'm gonna call it the Kate Sif chapter, and it's so bad. It's really, and I kind of feel like the game didn't quite recover from there. It's still an awesome game. I still have it installed. I got all these mods on. I've modded every character to have the crew to have a different outfit. It's they look fantastic, but it's I beat it on PlayStation, and that ending, almost every time I think about playing it again, I think about the ending. And no spoilers to you. It's just I'm definitely playing the third one because I need to know where they go from here. But I wasn't quite happy with how that turned out. But anywho, let's get up out of here because I need to go to sleep because I gotta be up in 5 hours for work.
Sleep, baby, sleep.
Ramon, we appreciate you coming through, man.
I appreciate you having me.
Where can our sharpshooters in this DPS community find you?
Well, I'm pretty narrow. Basically, Blue Sky is it. Blue Sky is it. So just Ramon Terrell on Blue Sky. If you want to talk games or if you want to talk books or anything like that, that's pretty much where I'm at. And appreciate you guys having me, especially impromptu in the moment. It's always nice to come hang out with you guys and talk about this
You
lovely
working
hobby.
You working on anything right now, man? You
Yeah.
got any roles that we need to know about coming down the pipeline?
I voiced something that I can't talk about. I'm not sure I'll ever be able to talk about. But as far as film, nothing recently. I'm kind of up for a few things that I'm waiting to hear back on, but nothing at the moment. They're filming God of War up here, which is highly unlikely I'll even be called in for obvious reasons, but you never know. I mean, Anger Boda, right? So you never know.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, but that's unlikely. But still exciting that they're filming it up here.
And I don't even know if you want to even, they cast you and then it comes out and then you get a certain crowd. You be all over YouTube videos. These anti-DEI grifters are like, oh, of course they had to put a bald head black man in this Norse mythology. You know how they are.
Oh yeah, I know how they are, and I mean, quite frankly, I mean, they're gonna be there, and they can cry, and then they'll continue to cry, and then there's nothing you can do to please them anyway. So well, I take that back. There's one thing and one thing only you can do to please them, and it's
not exist.
Not exactly, not exist. That you nailed it, hit the nail on the head. So, but yeah, other than that, and working on a new book, Path of the Far Strider. It's
okay.
Pretty action-packed, fast-paced, action-packed type of thing. So I think that's going to be fun. But other than that, yeah, just
you should. I have an idea to add into to kind of like just weave into your story.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you have like a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, right? and just just randomly the Stay Puft Marshmallow just starts walking around and stepping on homes and buildings and stuff and would that be great, Forte?
I ain't listening to you.
Forte, what you got going on for the next week, man?
For the next week, Battlefield. I'm actually logging into the game now to play a couple of matches, go to sleep. But yeah, that stream wasn't able to do it earlier this week because Bandcamp was a thing and I didn't know if I was gonna have to pick her up and stuff like that. But we will be doing a Death Stranding stream Wednesday next week.
You saw the thumbnail for the previous
one, and I decided to like kind of be like, no, I don't even want to see that thumbnail yet. So we're that dumb thumbnail that you made.
I gotta show him the next one. I gotta show him the next
thumbnail.
My God.
The thumbnail's stupid.
It's great. So Ramon, look in the chat of this voice call. It's a little icon for open chat. Look at the thumbnail for his next Death Stranding stream. I love it.
Hold on, let me see.
Okay, if that's too hard to find, let me just put it here in the Fellowship channel so everyone can see it. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, why you laughing, bro?
Go on, Forte. That's hilarious, man.
Yeah, he was in his bag that day. He was in his bag that day, but
and eventually when he finally does the stream, everybody will see the thumbnail. So anyway,
yeah, we're not in a hurry for people to see that thumbnail.
Oh, I'm in a hurry. You need to hurry up. Anywho, I will be. I need to do this Borderlands stuff. So My bad on that. I can't really get on Forte for that. Doing the next stream. At least he did one last weekend. I haven't done any Borderlands streams in a while, so I need to get on that. So to be ready for Borderlands 4 when it comes out. All that said, that's about it. Yeah, we'll get up out of here. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Or just go to bed because it's super late. And enjoy your weekend, man. Peace.
Later on, y'all.